Could the 72-year-old mystery of the body of a man who became known only as the Somerton Man be a step closer to being solved? Police and forensic scientists yesterday exhumed the remains of the Somerton Man from his West Terrace Cemetery grave in a bid to solve one of Australia's most enduring mysteries. The much anticipated development in the almost 73-year-old case came just weeks after the South Australian Attorney-General, Vicki Chapman, gave approval for the exhumation.
Ensure compliance with the reinterment and respectful management of this operation. I wish to publicly acknowledge the South Australian Police for their commitment and financial contribution to meet the cost of this significant project, and also to the Forensic South Australia. This division will be responsible for the receiving of the body and obviously the significant forensic work to be undertaken and assessments to be done in consultation with the police.
Major crime detectives are hoping that advances in forensic technology will enable a DNA profile to be extracted from the remains to identify the mystery man and possibly shed light on how he died. But Professor Anne Coxon from Forensics SA said it would likely be weeks before it is known whether DNA can be extracted from the Somerton Man's remains, let alone whether a genetic match can be found. Depending on how much DNA is taken, scientists will try to match it to genetic databases in Australia and internationally to find a relative, but there is no guarantee a match would be found.
I think over the years there's been huge advances in DNA technology, and now there are a lot of different techniques that we're going to be able to potentially use to assist in trying to finally give this gentleman a name. We may or may not be successful in that. There's a number of steps to cover. First of all, we need to extract the DNA if it's present, and then apply it to the techniques which apply it to the different databases or the different types of methods that are available for us to see if we can find any information to assist with that.
Yesterday morning, Major Crime Investigation Branch Officer in Charge, Detective Superintendent Des Bray, said the exhumation was being done with dignity and respect, adding that the Somerton Man is not just a curiosity or a mystery to be solved. He's someone's father, son, perhaps grandfather, uncle or brother, and that's why they are doing it and trying to identify him, he said.
There are people we know that live in Adelaide who believe they may be related, and they deserve to have a definitive answer as to whether they are descendant of the Somerton Man or not. And we would hope from this exercise to gather information which will be able to aid the investigators and point them in the direction of inquiries that might help to identify him, his origins, and maybe how he died. Today what will happen is the exhumation will be conducted in accordance with the terms and conditions as outlined by the attorney, but importantly it will be conducted in a manner which pays respect and dignity to this man on behalf of whoever his family may be. What will happen today is the cemetery's people have commenced the excavation and have taken it to a point where we are near the remains of the Somerton Man, and shortly forensic teams will move into place, place a marquee over the grave site, and then they will work in private to recover his remains, which will be later conveyed to forensic science.
The mystery of the Somerton Man, who was discovered slumped against a wall at Somerton Beach in Adelaide in December 1948, has captivated the public for over 7 decades. The many theories behind the mystery include that he was a Russian spy who was poisoned because of a suspected code written inside a discarded poem book that was linked to the Somerton Man through a small section of page ripped from the book and found in the fob pocket of his pants. Others are that he was simply an American sailor who travelled to Adelaide to visit a child he had fathered during the war years and had died of natural causes, or he was a merchant seaman who had overstayed his visit in Australia. A post-mortem at the time failed to provide any conclusive cause of death. While there were no visible wounds found on the Somerton Man's body, there was speculation that he may have died of poisoning. It is possible that advances in forensic technology may be able to identify traces of toxins from bone samples that will be examined. Detectives have waited until now to apply for his exhumation because of the significant advances in forensic DNA technology in recent years. While the aim of the exhumation is to obtain a DNA profile from the Somerton Man skeletal remains, that may prove to be a difficult task. He was embalmed following his post-mortem, and the formaldehyde used in that process is known to degrade DNA. Over the past decade, there have been numerous calls to exhume the Somerton Man's remains, with former Attorney General John Rao twice refusing a request by Adelaide University professor Derek Abbott, who has been researching the case for more than a decade and who claims it is possible that his wife Rachel is the Somerton Man's granddaughter. On Wednesday morning, Professor Abbott visited the cemetery and called it a tremendous day. He said it's a credit to the SA police force that they have managed to get the approval for this exhumation, and he thinks it means a lot to the state because many people in SA want to see a resolution to this mystery. Many South Australians feel that the cost of the exhumation and the DNA testing could be better spent elsewhere. But let's not forget that this is a cold case, be it over 70 years old, and that every cold case deserves closure. Even if DNA extraction is successful and the identity of the man confirmed, it may still leave many unanswered questions as to why he was found dead on an Adelaide beach that morning, and who it was that killed him. Whatever the outcome, thousands of people around the world will continue to try and crack what they believe was the secret code he left behind. I've left a link to the full story of the Somerton Man below. Thanks for watching, and remember to subscribe for more murder, mystery and mayhem. Until next time.